Okay. Wait, this is amazing. Hi, everyone. Oh, wait, let me see. Okay, I think it's working. Yes, I hope it's working. Okay, I am doing my live stream from my computer for the first time. I usually do the live stream on the phone. So this is this is new for me and this is so exciting. I hope it's working. So, um, okay. I'm so excited to be here. It's Monday. It's a beautiful Monday, and it was so funny. I was getting ready for the live stream, of course, like getting my oils because I wanted to do a shot with you guys. And I was getting nervous. I don't know why. I haven't been on live in so long. Maybe that's why. So I wanted to first, today's video we're going to talk about vertigo and tinnitus. And there was some questions posted in this group about it. So let's do like a quick just update and recap what I'm doing. How I arrived here at this moment. And you know what? I'm going to just hop on. Oh, wait. Yes! Okay, I see Pamela. Yay! I put it on my phone so I can see who's on because I can't. Oh, yay! Hi, Pamela. I can't see the comments and stuff while I'm live through my computer, but I can see them on my phone. All right, so today's video we're going to discuss vertigo and tinnitus. And we are also going to talk about the updates and what I'm doing here and what I'm going to be doing every Monday. I'm excited to be back. I love live streams and I also love connecting with you guys and I love education. And so I had this like such inspired action to come into this group and do the lives again and just we can also all thank Trump, whether we like him or not. There's no personal opinion here. Just want to thank him because of his the election and presidency. Mark Zuckerberg came out. I don't know if anybody saw this, but Mark Zuckerberg came out with the video saying that they're just not going to be censoring content anymore on Facebook and Instagram. So that was inspiring for me, and I was like, okay, like this is really great news. And this means that I can jump back on, but my pages have already been deleted. But that's okay. I wanted to keep this in the group anyways, just to keep it safe, be on the safe side. So I'm excited to be back. There's so much happening that's been really wonderful. For those of you who remember, I had gotten into school to get my PhD like several years back, taking a little bit of break. I took a break starting in January, almost done with my bachelor's in holistic science. And so, yeah, it's been a lot, but there's so much learning and there's so much exciting things to share that that is so eye-opening to how our body works and how we can heal naturally. So, yeah, I wanted to come back on here after I heard the great news about the uncensored content. And then I did change the name because I've been really into weightlifting and I got back into teaching yoga and I've like deviate from that and then the universe is like, no, no, come back. You're changing people's lives. Like, how can you stop doing it? Come back, come back, come back. So, yeah, so that's what I'm doing. I still use essential oils of course, like very, very frequently. And actually, I started to work with an essential oil distiller here in Hawaii, which I'm really excited about because I've been able to have access to essential oils that are not available through, the different companies that make essential oils that are more commonly known. So that's been really amazing. And my daughter Ellie started a business, and I've been helping her the last 6 months. She launched a business called Tan and Beach, and she just recently launched her very own tanning oil, which I helped formulate with essential oils, of course, that are all distilled here and hydro distilled, steam distilled. They're amazing. And we have marketed it as a tanning oil because it's really good for the skin and it's very safe to use out in the sun, and it helps enhance like the natural color of the skin. But I use it everywhere. I use it on my face, and anyways, it's been really amazing. So I've gotten into the world of, like just understanding more about the essential oils and the things that are so beneficial to our body. So, before we talk about tinnitus and vertigo, this is so different for me because I am not on my phone doing my live stream, but it's okay. I'm going to get adjusted to this new live stream situation. I want to take an oil shot. I was thinking, like, right as I was going to go live, I was thinking, oh my gosh, how could I do a live stream and not take my oil shot? So if you have some water next to you, or if you don't, go get some. If you have a cup, put yourself some water. And today I'm doing peppermint, tea tree oil, and DDR prime. So if you're wondering, I'm still not affiliated with any specific essential oil company. This is my favorite though. I'm just gonna do 2 drops of peppermint. The reason why I'm doing this blend, by the way, is because we were fostering some kitties, 2 little kitties, and I can get very sensitive to the cats, and so they were recently adopted, and I feel like it's still getting a little bit of a response to them being here for 10 days. So the tea tree oil and DDR prime and peppermint together is really good. Also, thyroid issues, like if you struggle with any sort of thyroid issues, we'll just put it on while we're talking about it. It has clove. Clove is so good. And it's really good for thyroid. I know somebody had asked me about clove oil, about thyroid issues. And so in the private group. So I have a private group off of this platform on my own website. You can look it up. It's in the post details, actually. I think there's a link in the post details, getfitwithpolina.club. And that private group, I respond to personal health issues, and you can get answers from me anytime. This one, I won't be able to answer all the questions posted in this group, but I'm going to do the best I can to come on weekly to discuss these issues. So that way you can learn. That's Daisy, you guys. And I'm going to talk about this kind of stuff for pets because I feel like it's still so often that people say that it's like sensitive. Pets can be sensitive. Yes, definitely. But they're still so good for the pets. All right, let's take a shot. If you're taking a shot with me, get some water, put some oils, tea tree, peppermint, DDR prime. I grabbed frankincense because this is really good for just regulating the nervous system. Good for starting the day, even a midday shot. But I got the empty bottle. So, all right, cheers. Gosh, I was thinking, by the way, I did drink this. The new formula says it's not to be used internally, but y'all know how I feel about that. I use the oils internally. and I love them. I think that Boston, let me see if I could tag her really quick because she's messaging me about Daisy is such a cutie. Hi, Pamela. I see your questions. Okay, so Pamela asked, getting my doctorate degree in June. I'm going to need more time. so, so that's going to take me a little bit longer. But this is okay. I'm thinking like, I just take my time, as much time as I need to get through it. And in the meantime, I can continue to incorporate it into my life and share it. And I even told Avi the other day, because he's going to go to law school. I can't believe Avi's going to be 18. That's my oldest son. And hi, Phyllis. And so I was telling him, you can do like an educational channel teaching about law while you're studying. That way you can retain the information and then you can help people learn about this kind of stuff too. So I'd like to get back to doing that too. Partly why I came back to doing the live stream is because I wanted to share the things that I'm learning so I can retain it and then I can teach you at the same time. So I think I went over all the updates. I put some notes down so I don't forget. I will be back here every Monday unless I'm traveling. I will be traveling to Washington, D.C. in a couple of weeks, but I will post it. I am speaking at a conference I've gotten really into conflict resolution and emotional connection and parenting and the importance of, connecting with, just with your children, as a parent, with the siblings. And also, I've been the host of a podcast called The Leader in You. And so my mom owns a company where she does a lot of that conflict resolution for corporates and like corporate officers and board directors and team dynamics. And so they asked me to come with them to this event. And so she has a booth there. And so we're going to be talking about the importance of understanding emotions and how emotions are so powerfully connected to our health. And that brings me to the topic of vertigo and tinnitus. So if I am not going to be able to do a live stream Monday, I will let you guys know. I'll post it here in the group. Otherwise, I'll be here every Monday. And I have been considering, just depending on the videos and how we keep this group private, I can keep the videos here. If there's anything that I feel would be like a little bit more controversial to keep in this group, then I will take it off the platform and put it into the other private group. So the other private group I have is called also Get Fit with Polina, but it's not on Facebook. You can go to getfitwithpolina.club and it's on a private platform. It's just like posted on a website. And so that group, I can just kind of talk. I can't do live streams in that group, but I can respond to different health issues. Like if you have fitness videos requests, yoga video requests, like I've been doing that. Okay, now let's talk about vertigo and tinnitus. Okay, so that's the update. Okay, vertigo and tinnitus. So I was mentioning about emotions and how important emotions play a role in our health. And I first want to go over tinnitus. And I had this question in this group that came up about what this person asked. I have had 100% hearing loss now from tinnitus and vertigo. And it's really, I've had vertigo before, and it is so difficult because it's also just like so difficult to experience because I would get nauseous, when I can't even, like, you can't even close your eyes, because when you close your eyes, you're still feeling dizzy. So tinnitus, number one, is anything to do with tinnitus or vertigo is caused by inflammation, which is actually a really good sign because when it's caused by inflammation, it's easy to help resolve the issue when we are dealing with an inflammatory issue. So many things cause inflammation in our body. And of course, probably know what I'm going to say next if you've been watching me for years and years, is food is directly related, and our environment is directly related to inflammation in our system. So tinnitus is when you hear sound in your ear, like if there's ringing or swooshing, or it could be like a constant sound that's in your ear. And then vertigo is when you feel like you're off balance, like your equilibrium is off balance, like you get very dizzy, it's difficult to walk. I remember I've had it a couple times when I was pregnant, and then I did notice if I get a really bad cold and flu, which is actually, it makes sense that those things happen, because when you have fluid buildup in your ear or you have infection, that can cause vertigo. So I keep going back to this protocol when I talk about vertigo and tinnitus, and it is a common issue that I have talked about so many times in my lives. I have a protocol in my ebook because this protocol works, and it's also a very common issue. A lot of times people just don't feel like they can get the help they need to resolve it. So this is another good thing about the ear, similar to the teeth. When you go to the dentist and you have a cavity or you need a root canal, I don't agree, by the way, with root canals. You go to the dentist is like, oh, and you have a cavity, it's like, oh, your enamel can't like rebuild itself. You need a cavity filling, you need a root canal. They will tell you that you need these procedures because there's like nothing you can do. Well, in fact, our teeth have the ability, just like our bones, to remineralize, to create new enamel for the teeth. So in the ears, it's the same thing. I feel like it's so many places in the body we have that ability to like regenerate. It's just like when Micah cut off his finger. He didn't cut it off. When he got an injury and it cut off, it was like his finger grew back. So we have the ability in our system. It's just like liver as well. The liver functioning. And when you say you have liver failure, liver's not functioning anymore, your body has the ability to regenerate those cells that can bring the liver back to life. So when it comes to the ear, even if you have, I know that, well, maybe I shouldn't even say it because you guys know me by now. So I don't have to say, I know this might sound crazy. It doesn't sound crazy because it's true. Your ear has the ability to heal. So if you've experienced 100% hearing loss, it's okay, because the little tiny follicles in your ear and the different cells regenerate. We can bring those cells that we need to function properly so that you have hearing again. We can bring them back to life. So here's what I would do. Basil, ginger, geranium, helichrysum, those 4. Helichrysum is number 1 at the top of the list. And you can make a roller. I have this roller. We'll just put it on while we're talking about rollers. You can make a roller bottle, and you're going to roll. This is the good one for hormone health. You're going to roll right here in front of the ear and behind the ear, just like so. Also, I would roll inside, or you could place some and rub it on the inside. We need to create an environment around the ear that supports cellular growth. I was teaching yoga yesterday, a gentle yoga class, and I was explaining to the students that I found out the secret of life. But, well, I found this out. But of course, like, once I found out what the secret of life is, I was like, oh my gosh, of course. And I already knew that. But while I was studying at school, I was listening to a lecture by one of the doctors, and I found out the secret of life. And the secret of life is movement. And movement, why? Movement, not just like physical movement, not just, okay, I'm going for a walk, I'm going to go exercise, no, I'm not talking about that. The cells, hi Diana, hi Cindy. Okay, Cindy, we're going to talk about that in a second. Hi Sylvia. Every cell in your body has gears. Okay? Every single cell has gears. Hi, Barbie! I'm seeing your guys' comments in my videos. Yay. So, in order for the gears to move in the cells, they need to be triggered. There needs to have a trigger, right? It's like when you get into the car and you turn the car on. Well, it's not going to turn on if there's no gas. Okay? So, in order for that's a trigger. You put the gas in, you push the start. Gas is like, the trigger is like the start button more than the gas, because the gas is just like the fuel, and because it is fuel. And then you push the start button in order for it to trigger, like the gas to go to the engine, and then the car to function. So when we talk about the secret to life, we need to think in regards to movement in the cells. If the cells, every single cell in your body, it's like an entire universe in your entire system, from the head all the way down to your toes. Every single cell in your body has a specific instruction. Oh, I was reading today also, like, everybody's brain is different. I mean, we have the same parts, right? But the way the cells are formed and there's a slight difference, and so we all see colors differently. So the cells in our body, they need to be able to have triggers in order for the gears in the cells to move. When the gears in the cells move, the cell, whatever its function is, whatever its instruction is in the span of its life, it needs those gears to move. It needs to be triggered in order to fulfill its instruction. Okay? So when we don't have that trigger, then the cell doesn't work properly. Or if we somehow get a virus or an infection and we're dealing with the virus or infection, then as the virus infection is causing issues on the cells, then the cells don't work properly anymore. When we have an virus or an infection and we do the things that help our body create the environment for the cells to thrive, to function. This is why On Guard works so well when you're not feeling well, or why On Guard works so well when your throat is hurting you. Because it is like, oh my gosh, there's a virus in your system. I'm going to help support the system to kill off this virus. And then it does that, right? So when it comes to the ear, or any situation, but this specific situation, we have to create an environment. Yes, the oils are great. You can put them on every single day, 5 times a day. We also need to create an environment to help support the cells regenerate so that we can create those cells that restore the function of the ear. So when you first deal with an issue, like let's say, this is also a good thing to look at. When you think about health issues, it's like a scale. So you could have something that's like not as serious. If you just start to feel a little bit of a cold coming on, like if you don't sleep well at night, or you're struggling with, or in the morning you wake up and you have mucus, you have difficulty swallowing, or you're like coughing up the mucus, or having to blow your nose. These are all signs that your immune system, something's going on in your immune system, or you are not, you're coming down with something. You get to using the things that help the environment kill off the virus or the bacteria or whatever's coming onto you, then you won't actually get sick. So it's kind of the same thing when you have a more serious health issue. If you are catching what's going on with your system, you have inflammation. There's something going on. You are experiencing tinnitus. You are experiencing vertigo. These are signs. Your body's like, oh my gosh, come on. There's something going on. What you're doing right now is not creating an environment that is helping me thrive So I need something to change. I need something different in order to shift myself back into like a balanced, thriving environment. This is why I call the live Thrive Live. Because your only job in this world is to thrive. That's what I'm here for, is to help you thrive. So cell movement, Diana is asking, so for cell movement, a vibration plate would be a great use. Oh my gosh. Yes, we could definitely talk about vibration, one of those power plates or vibration plates, or I actually have, where is it? I have this like big red circular massaging thing, but it like vibrates. That would be so good. Yes. So that's one of those things. So movement. So this is also why essential oils work so well, because when you put the essential oils in the area of the body, I'm touching my ear because we're referencing tinnitus and vertigo, to the area of the body that is having pain, inflammation, it is a constipation of movement. And the essential oils, they trigger movement in the cells. So this is why they work so incredibly well. Hi, Lisa. Now, we have essential oils. Yes. Let's talk about adding to that. So helichrysum number 1, that's number 1 oil. I've talked about this many times before. Helichrysum is a nerve repair, cellular repair oil. So it can like repair damaged tissue. It could repair nerves that are no longer functioning. Like if you suffered from smell and taste, like if you suffered from losing your smell and taste when COVID was happening, helichrysum was the way to go. So those are all really, really good for this issue. The helichrysum, ginger, basil, geranium. Basil is an anti-inflammatory. It's a muscle relaxant. Basil is also antiviral. And ginger and geranium are excellent for bringing your equilibrium back to balance. So those 4 in a bottle. And I would do helichrysum the most. If you have a small 5 milliliter bottle of helichrysum, I would put the entire bottle into a roller or a dropper, and then add, or you can get the helichrysum roller if you like, but I know that they don't put that much helichrysum in the roller. The roller is a lot more diluted if you get it directly. So I say 5 milliliter helichrysum in a roller bottle, like so, and then add fractionated coconut oil, and you can also put the basil, geranium, and ginger. I would say you could do 20 drops of those oils and then do the entire 5 milliliter bottle of, this is 80 drops right here, of helichrysum. Yay, I'm so glad, you guys. Thank you. Now let's talk about changing your eating lifestyle. So what causes inflammation? Let's have a quiz. Let's have a quiz. What causes inflammation? I'm certain y'all that have been watching me for a while know what causes inflammation, but let's do a quick recap. Number 1 at the top of the list, sugar, dairy, and gluten. Okay? I think oh, by the way, I'm not exactly sure if I've shared this with you, but I started to eat meat. Like, yeah, it's probably been, I don't eat it very often, just once a week, and I don't eat chicken or pork. I eat steak or beef and fish, eggs, and then lots of fruits and vegetables. So inflammation comes from dairy, sugar, gluten, and I've talked about this so much before. Let's say I was experiencing the exact same thing. I had 100% hearing loss and I have inflammation in my system. Thank you, Pamela, good job. I would eliminate dairy, gluten, and sugar for the duration of time that I'm creating this environment that is supporting my body to heal. Okay, so it could be quick. It could be very quick. It could be 30 days. It could be 60 days. Sometimes it could be 6 months, depending on how focused and intentional you are in your healing. But I would definitely eliminate those things. And so that's going to promote an environment that lowers inflammation. I would take the LLV. I do still take LLV every single day, morning and night. I would take deep blue polyphenol complex, copaiba soft gels, or if you're drinking a shot like I just did at the beginning of this video, DDR Prime is excellent to take internally. And I would be taking those things, deep blue polyphenol complex, copaiba, superfoods, greens, or I know they have the new powder, VMX, I think it's called. That's great too. That's really good. I would just say you want to focus on decreasing as much inflammation as possible in the body, because that's going to create the environment that you need. VMG. Thank you, Lisa. I need to do more research on the VMG. I don't know much about that. Actually, Pamela's messaged me some information about it, but I've just been taking the LLV for so long and I love it that I say LLV. If the VMG Plus is working for you and you love it, I say fine, just stay with it. That's good. I love that. So yeah, I would just make those same changes to your eating lifestyle. Make those same changes to the essential oils that you're using. And I know that I have talked about this before. But sometimes when you have a health issue, you get to a point in your health issue, like let's say you change all of the eating habits that you've experienced, and then you have incorporated the essential oils and you feel like you're doing everything and things aren't as improving as fast as you'd like. This also means that there is a connection of your emotional state and your stress relating to your issue, your health issue that you're dealing with. Okay? And I know that I had talked about that kind of towards the end of my live streams because I was learning so much about how our emotions are related to our health issues. And I cannot stress this enough. Like I have talked about this before too, dealing with a lot of throat issues that I have personally and ear infections. It's like you struggle with speaking the truth about how you're feeling, or you struggle with just sharing your feelings in general. Oh, good. Pamela said LLV is being phased out and being replaced with VMG Plus. Perfect. That's good to know. Thank you for the update. Okay, so, and this is a really good test. Okay, this week, before I come back on the live on Monday, what I want you to do is to just bring awareness to where you physically feel pain in your body directly related to when you're upset or frustrated or sad or irritated, disappointed. Anytime you feel a negative emotion, I want you to notice, like, think about me. I mean, I don't want to be related to your negative feelings, but this is really good practice. I want you to think about, where am I feeling it in my body? Sometimes I was really upset over the weekend about a situation, and I just kept asking myself, like, gosh, I was living in this story of being so upset, and I kept asking myself, like, what's going on? I know this is like my own work that I need to work through. What is going on with me? And then you tune in to, where do you feel it in your body? A lot of times when I have to talk about, not so much now, but before I did a lot of like work on expressing myself, I had to, before I lost my train of thought. When I talk about my feelings, Before it was a lot worse. Now it's a lot better. My stomach would hurt. Like I would get such intense pain in my stomach. And you know how if you're nervous about something, your heart starts to beat fast and you start to get hot and sweaty. Or some people feel like they're going to throw up. Or, you get those physical responses to what is going on in your body emotionally. So this is just notice this week before I come back on Monday. When you get upset, when you get frustrated, even if the slightest thing, someone cuts you off or I don't know, you start thinking about a problem. Like you can actually go through this to just see what happens to you physically. Let's say you talk about something or you think about something. It's like a practice you can do about something that's painful to you. For example, when I was younger, my parents used to make me play piano, and I practiced piano for a very long time, but my teacher was very, how do I put this nicely? I don't think I can. She was very, very strict. And to the point where I she used to record our lessons. And I would tell my mom that the teacher's so mean, and she would hit me sometimes, like on my hands or my back. And I stole one of the recordings from the piano lesson to turn it into my teacher at school, because my mom kept taking me to, okay, so I don't even have to finish that story and I start to feel it physically. My heart starts hurting, my stomach starts hurting, and I'm like getting hot. Okay, so this is so interesting. This is like a response. This is a natural physical response that we experience when we deal with our emotions. So now let's take it to the next level of how it correlates with our health. Every single issue that we experience physically, yes, it is included in the environment of our emotions, not just what we eat, not just our daily habits, not just what we do, not just the medications that we may or may not be taking, the situations that we have, but when we have conflicts and we are experiencing our emotions and it's difficult for us to process what is happening, we are going to have physical response to those emotions. Now, I can finish that story, but before I started opening up about this with my mom and the therapist, I did the last 3.5 years I've been doing therapy with my mom. It was very difficult for me. I couldn't even say it out loud, So those are all good signs. Think about when you get upset. Those are patterns, by the way. But think about, okay, where am I feeling it in your body? In my body. Where do I feel it? In my stomach, in my heart. Do you feel it in your ears? Do you feel it in your head? Do you feel it in your neck, in your back? Or think about something that was really painful to you. Where do you feel it in your body? So that is the first step, because when we become aware of the way that our body physically responds to our emotions, we can make the shift. We can bring awareness, bring light to it. When we bring light to it and we can speak things out loud, then it's amazing because it decreases the intensity of those feelings. We create space for it. So I was able to, just at that moment, talking about the situation, I was able to slow down and stop. Okay, I feel it in my stomach. I feel it in my heart. And just saying it out loud helps, right? It doesn't have to consume you. Wait, Diana said, I got so stressed out last Friday and Saturday that it put me in the hospital on Easter Day. I kept telling the doctor I believed it was the stress that brought this on. Yes. Of course. So when you think environment, creating an environment that is thriving for your body, we have healthy eating, we have movement, physical movement and exercise, we have using our essential oils, we have changing our eating lifestyle. We have the environment that we live in, the people that we surround ourselves with. But at the top of the list, I feel like right along with what we eat, because we are experiencing our emotions more often than the amount of times we eat in the day. Okay? So I feel like that right there is to recognize how we can slow down when we get stressed, when we get triggered, when we get into a conflict, when we get upset. Slow down, take a step back, reach for someone. Of course, that's ideal because it's very difficult to deal with stress and that kind of stuff on our own. When we can reach for someone and then we can just create space. We don't necessarily have to do anything about it. We can reach for our oils too, because those are really good in helping our cortisol levels lower and relaxing. Last night, I couldn't sleep. I went to bed 9 o'clock. My kids are with their dad Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I went to bed at 9 o'clock. I did not go to sleep till 11:45. 2 hours and 45 minutes. So, yeah, there's a lot in my mind. There's a lot going on. So this is good to recognize, like, where's the cycle? Where are the patterns? Where do you feel it in your body? And then you can just state it like, oh, I feel it in my chest. I feel it in my heart. I feel it in my stomach. I feel it in my back, my neck, my head, my ear, wherever you feel it. Sometimes the ear is related to not feeling heard. Like the voice is related to not feeling like you could speak your truth. Like you could be truthful, that's separate than speaking your truth. Like let's say you feel unhappy in a situation, but you're not talking about the situation that you're unhappy with. And so you're not able to speak the truth in that way. But you could just be a truthful, honest person and not speak truth because it's scary for you or difficult for you or hard for you to understand. So yes, Pamela said it right, knowing our triggers. I have this book. If you follow me on Instagram, you've probably heard me talking about it. I was looking for it because I teach this to my kids, understanding their triggers and then just saying them out loud. Because at the moment that you feel stressed or upset about anything in particular that you're dealing with, just recognizing it, speaking it out loud, and creating space for it, that's a lot of times just what we need in that moment to relax and lower our cortisol levels. So this applies to everything in our life, but number one, this is relationships, because as humans, prior to the cells forming and creating the humans that we are today, the cells learned that in order for them to survive longer, they need to be bonded together. Cells can't survive on their own. We cannot survive on our own. Okay, so if you're out here dealing with tinnitus or vertigo and you're doing all the things and you're using your oils and you're changing your eating lifestyle and you're exercising and you're moving, and you still do not talk about your emotions or you don't talk about the difficulties that you experience. I'm not talking about complaining, because that's typically what people go to, is they go to complaining, criticizing, judging, shaming, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. It's very normal. It's just not effective and not helpful for us to process what we feel inside, what we're feeling emotionally, how hurt, how the pain we feel. Oh, this is another good example, and then I'll end it here. So when you get hurt emotionally, it's like cutting a wound, okay? And let's say you're in a relationship and you get hurt constantly in the relationship. It's like, and maybe they're like little things. They're like little paper cuts. And so you get these little paper cuts. And when you get these little paper cuts, they heal, right? But let's say that one paper cut keeps getting cut over and over and over again. And it gets deeper and deeper and deeper. And then and then it gets infected, but the skin over it heals. And so when you don't really care, like you care for, like if you don't take care of the pain, the deep wound and the pain, and the skin just heals and then it gets infected. Now you have an infection in your entire body. Well, and you're trying to understand, like, I'm putting Band-Aid on it, but it's not working. You need to put some oregano and clove and, frankincense and helichrysum, and you got to tend to it like 3 times a day, and you got to, like, love it. This is the same thing. This is the same thing. So, emotionally speaking, when you get emotionally hurt, it is like a wound. It is like a physical wound in your system. And if we don't really understand what's causing it, so like let's say, yeah, you got that cut and all of a sudden your whole body's infected and now you're like, why do I have this infection in my entire body? Why are my lymph nodes swollen? You're like, oh my God, let me just treat the lymph nodes. And then it's not going away. Well, that's because it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the infection, inflammation. Y'all getting it? You're getting my point. So I would take if I was dealing with a serious health issue, and I'm avoiding talking about something. It's probably a lot of things that you're avoiding talking about. I would take some time every single day to communicate. I have a form, actually, you guys. I have a form. I wanted to show you guys the form. It's not within reach, but it's there. I would communicate what is going on with my feelings. And the form I have, it goes like step by step through how to share the feelings and understand the triggers and understand your feelings, and just saying out loud would decrease the emotions 70%. This is what we're going to do next Monday. So we'll take an oil shot. We'll talk about another health issue, and then we're going to go over the form because it would be so good. It would be so good for you guys to learn. I'll teach y'all. All right, so we got the protocol for vertigo tinnitus. My group now, this was fun. My group now is back. This is a private group. You can invite people to join. They won't be added unless they answer the questions. So they just have to answer the questions to join. And I'm so grateful to be here. I'm going to be on every Monday, Thrive Live. And whatever updates, I'll keep you guys posted. If you have questions, go ahead and post them in the group. They have to be approved so you won't see them in the group. And I will go through those questions and I will answer them for you guys on these videos. If you need support, more support, if you're dealing with health issues, if you need support talking about your emotions, if you need to understand what's going on with your relationships, you need help with just learning more about how to communicate those things, I am, of course, very open to supporting and helping you guys. You can message me here. You can message me on Instagram, book a session with me. And you can also jump into that private group. I know some of you are already in there. It's $17 a month, but it helps support me, and I can get into there and respond. Someone Boston had asked about some specific chemical constituents in a medication and how to use the essential oils in place. And I was able to break down the chemical constituents for her for that medication and then just correlate to the essential oils and how to shift that. So that kind of stuff, it's in that group. And personally requested videos, yoga videos, health videos, that sort of thing, I'm happy to do those in there as well. All right. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Pamela. Oh, I'm so glad. Sylvia, I'm glad that you're here. Thank you so much. Kim said, I've only heard that LV is not being phased out. VMG is simply a liquid option. Amazing. Yeah, I love the updates, you guys, because I'm not like, I'm not like in it. I mean, I'm in it with my essential oils, but I'm not like in it. All right. I will see you next Monday. Thank you so much for joining. And as always, Thrive. It's time to thrive. It's time to thrive. I'm so grateful you're here. And yeah, it was just, oh, see, I feel it physically, but in the good sense. I feel it in my heart. My heart is like doing that thing where it gets like really excited, and that's the dopamine, the oxytocin that I'm feeling from connecting with you. All right, I'll see you next Monday. Bye.